March 14th, 2026, Tokyo. Satoru Gojo walks through Shinjuku with his hands buried in his pockets, blindfold on, completely unbothered. Cursed spirits scatter before he rounds a corner. Sorcerers from the Jujutsu Tech's second campus stop what they're doing just to watch him pass. He's the strongest. Always has been. He knows it. They know it. Everyone on Earth with any cursed energy sensitivity knows it. But let's change one thing. During a high-priority mission in Osaka, Gojo's battle with a special-grade curse draws national attention. Bystanders film everything. The footage shows buildings folding in half, a crater stretching 4 city blocks wide, and a blindfolded man standing at the center laughing while an entire district burns. The Japanese Defense Ministry doesn't see a hero cleaning up a threat. They see an unregistered weapon of mass destruction operating in a major population center without authorization. The Prime Minister convenes an emergency session. The Japan's Self-Defense Force receives deployment orders within the hour. So what happens when the strongest sorcerer alive goes up against one of the most technologically advanced militaries in Asia? Here's the thing about Gojo. Power alone doesn't cover it. He's not just strong, he exists in a different category than every threat the JSDF has ever trained to handle. And that distinction is about to become very obvious. 6 a.m., Gojo is tracked to a rural area outside Nagano Prefecture. JSDF intelligence coordinates with an airborne unit. 2 F-2 support fighters scramble from Matsushima Air Base, each armed with ASM-2 anti-ship missiles repurposed for surface strike. These missiles cruise at Mach 0.9 and carry 225-kilogram warheads. The pilots acquire a heat signature on the ground and release simultaneously. Both missiles close fast. Gojo tilts his head slightly. That's all. Both warheads stop cold, hanging in the air 6 inches from his chest. This is infinity. Not a shield, not armor, not any technology the JSDF has a countermeasure for. Infinity is the restructuring of space itself between Gojo and anything approaching him. It creates an infinite series of converging subdivisions. The closer a projectile gets, the more space it has to cross. Mathematically, it never reaches zero. In the anime, a special-grade curse capable of generating magma temperatures hit infinity directly. The heat didn't register. Not even a degree of warmth passed through. 2 225-kilogram warheads don't change that math. Gojo flicks them sideways. They spiral off and detonate against a hillside 2 kilometers away. The pilots bank hard, already radioing back. Their report doesn't make sense to anyone receiving it. 6:30 a.m., a JG-SDF Rapid Reaction Regiment arrives from Camp Osaka. Roughly 600 soldiers with Howa Type 20 rifles, Mini-Me light machine guns, and Type 96 multi-purpose missile systems. These are disciplined, well-trained troops. They fan out across the valley in a coordinated encirclement, open fire on command. Every round stops in midair. Thousands of rounds. They hang around Gojo in a perfect suspended sphere like someone paused the universe specifically around him. He stands at the center with his arms crossed, looking faintly disappointed. The Type 96 teams launch their missiles. All 4 stop at the same invisible boundary. Gojo reverses the bullet trajectories with a thought. He aims for gear, not soldiers. Weapons shatter. Radios spark out. 2 infantry carriers flip and roll. The entire regiment is functionally disarmed in under 40 seconds. Gojo didn't take a step. He didn't break a sweat. He didn't even remove the blindfold. In the anime, Jogo, a special grade curse ranked just below the top of the threat scale, threw volcanic blasts that melted steel on contact. Infinity stopped those too. Rifle rounds aren't in the same conversation. 7:15 a.m. The crisis escalates to the Joint Staff Office in Ichigaya. Satellite feeds show the regiment scattered and disarmed without a single casualty on either side. Analysts have no framework for what they're watching. The decision comes down to overwhelming firepower. Type 10 main battle tanks roll in from Camp Takigahara. Their 120mm smoothbore cannons are loaded with Type 10 APF SDS rounds, tungsten penetrators moving at Mach 5, delivering kinetic energy in the range of 10 megajoules per shot. 4 AH-64D Apache longbow helicopters arrive from JASDF support and launch full Hellfire salvos. The combined impact should level a reinforced position. Against Gojo, every single projectile freezes in a glowing shell around him. The tank rounds stop, the hellfires stop. The detonations that do trigger at Infinity's edge have their force distributed across infinite subdivisions until they reach zero. This is the problem with fighting him. Yield holds no bearing. Whether you strike him with 10 megajoules or 10 terajoules makes no difference. Infinity doesn't scale with force, it's an absolute spatial barrier against anything approaching through physical space. Gojo lets the light show finish. Then he removes his blindfold. 8 a.m. The six eyes open. This is the ocular technique that makes Gojo what he is. It processes cursed energy at the atomic level, reads threats before they fully form, and makes his technique usage so efficient he can maintain infinity indefinitely without fatigue. Other sorcerers burn through their reserves in a sustained fight. Gojo could run at full output for days. He raises one hand. Cursed technique lapse, blue. A point of negative space blooms in front of the tank column. In the anime, this technique pulled entire buildings off their foundations. The attraction force concentrates at a point smaller than a basketball, drawing mass toward it with the pull of a miniature singularity. 3 Type 10 tanks, roughly 150 tons of steel combined, crumple inward and drag toward that point like empty cans. The grinding of metal carries across the entire valley. Then Gojo raises his other hand. Cursed technique reversal. Red. The repulsive counterpart. Twice the force, opposite direction. The remaining tanks launch backwards, spinning end over end, slamming into the hillside. Soldiers are thrown hundreds of meters. Body armor absorbs enough to keep them alive, but nobody's getting up quickly. The Apache helicopters pull hard to avoid the red shockwave. 2 of them clip rotors mid-evasion and go down in a controlled crash landing. Gojo watches all of it with the calm expression of someone watching something slightly below their interest level. 9 a.m. The Prime Minister faces the question nobody wanted to reach. Every conventional asset has failed. The JSDF's most advanced armor, air support, and infantry can't touch him. Someone raises the option of the GBU-28 bunker buster, which Japan has no direct access to, but an allied strike could be coordinated. The discussion doesn't get far because here's the problem. Even if you drop 30,000 pounds of explosives on Gojo's position, the result is the same as everything else that's already failed today. Infinity distributes the blast force across infinite space. The shockwave flattens the surrounding terrain. Gojo stands in the middle of it unchanged. But even setting aside the practical failure, a strike of that scale inside Japanese territory kills civilians. The math doesn't work on any level. And that's before anyone in that room considers domain expansion. If Gojo opens unlimited void, everyone within its radius receives infinite information simultaneously. Every sensation, every concept, every piece of data in existence floods their consciousness at once. In the anime, victims emerge catatonic. Their minds don't shut down, they overload. You can't launch a coordinated strike if your entire command structure is collapsed under infinite stimulus. The scariest part isn't that this option exists, it's that Gojo hasn't felt the need to use it yet. He's been handling everything with his baseline output. 10:30 a.m. Satellite imagery coming into the Joint Staff Office shows one man standing in a field surrounded by the wreckage of an entire armored regiment. Blindfold back on, hands back in his pockets. The posture isn't defiant. It's just waiting, like he's hoping something more interesting shows up. Final assessment, the Japan Self-Defense Force versus Satoru Gojo is not a winnable engagement. It's not even a containable one. Infinity makes every physical attack pointless, regardless of speed, mass, or explosive yield. Blue and red give him offensive output that can demolish armored columns without breaking his rhythm. Hollow purple, which he didn't even need to deploy today, erases matter at the atomic level. And unlimited void can shut down entire battlefields without a single fatality, which in some ways makes it worse. In Jujutsu Kaisen, the most powerful curse users in history, entities that have hunted and terrorized humanity for centuries, reached a collective agreement that Gojo cannot be fought directly. Their entire strategy was built around a sealing technique because nothing else was on the table. The JSDF is a world-class military. Against a man who makes special-grade curses look like practice, they were never in a different category than target practice. Earth's best defense against Gojo isn't a bigger warhead, it's making sure he stays interested in protecting the people around him. That covers everything I wanted to share. Should you wish to witness what unfolds when Sukuna engages the entire Japanese military, select the video displayed above.